Portugal 2, Spain 2, but the Portuguese come through in a penalty shootout to win their second Nation League. Ronaldo with his second Nations League and his third international trophy. Bruno Fernandes picking up his second international trophy tonight as well. Spain dunked on Yamal, pocketed tonight by man of the match, Mendes. But overall, a fantastic final. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. If you didn't watch it, you missed out. What were you doing tonight? What were you doing? You had to be watching this final. It was excellent. But look, a few bits to go through, a few bits to talk to as well. Make sure like buttons are being hit. Make sure you are all subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. But it really was a game of two halves. It was a real game of two halves because I'm not broken into two halves, but Spain started so dominantly. Portugal couldn't get near them. And it really looked, when they went 1-0 up Spain in this game, a brilliant, such a well-worked goal, a flick around the corner, Zubamendi driving forward with the ball, a delightful cross from Yamal. Slight fortune when the ball deflects back to Zubamendi, but he buries it. But there was such dominance from Spain at this point. You couldn't really see Portugal getting back into the tie. But then up steps Mendes, who for me has been the best left back in the world this year, for how regularly he has pocketed the best attackers in the world, along with his consistency overall. Tonight, not only did he pocket Yamal, he absolutely put on a clinic down that left-hand side. And the goal that he scored was just, it was reminiscent of the winning goal that Portugal scored against Germany. But instead of crossing the ball to Cristiano Ronaldo, he buried it into the far bottom corner. But then the Spain was still the better team. They score again just before halftime. A beautifully worked goal. No foul in the build-up, as many are claiming. Pedri absolutely on fire. He plays the ball in. A delightful finish. And again, when you look at the balance of play, the dominance on the ball, there really didn't look to be a way back in this match for Portugal. But in the second half, Roberto Martinez made a huge change, and a change that essentially saved the game. I couldn't believe he started Neves as a right back, first and foremost. You're taking that brilliance away from midfield. I still would have left Neves on, by the way. I would have put him into the middle. But he brings on Semedo, brings on Neves into the middle, takes off Costasal, and it just becomes a different football match in the second half of the game. Portugal were by far the better team, in my view, from halftime onwards. Now, they didn't have still the majority of the ball, but it was a little bit, I still think they had about 30% more Spain if you were actually to break down the stats. But it was the danger they had on the break. Bringing on Rafael Leao late, his speed, his pace against tired legs was absolutely imperative. But of course, Cristiano Ronaldo. And I want to shout out Cristiano Ronaldo. I want to say well done to Cristiano Ronaldo, because I stand by all the things I've said before. If you're going to make a 40-year-old like Ronaldo work in a team like Spain, you need legs, runners, and higher-level football players around him. It's what you need. Without it, you're going to struggle. And they've got so much better at that, Portugal, in the last 12 months with a new manager. And the fact is, whether you think he should retire or not, whether you think he should start from the bench or not, that's a conversation for another day. Because in the cold, hard light of day, Ronaldo scored in this Nations League the two most important goals for Portugal to land them another major trophy. You know, in a nation that had won very little in its history. And I'm just going to go check that what I'm saying is right there. But for a nation that hadn't won an abundance of trophies, for me, what they have achieved in the last few years, in the last decade, has been absolutely brilliant. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. They've done a fantastic job. I'm just checking their honors now, actually. Nothing. They'd come third in the World Cup in 1966, and they came third in the Confederations Cup. That was actually in 2017. But 2 Nations Leagues and champions of Europe, all in that last decade, all led by Cristiano Ronaldo. You can't take that away from him. But the goals were important. And the equalizer today, and I'm going to talk about Mendes in a minute because he deserves so much praise. But the goal that he scored, we know how good Cucurella is. But it was that anticipation, that reading of the game, an attribute, a commodity, an element of football that is just so ignored by modern day football fans. It shouldn't be, but it simply is. It's massively ignored. He knew where the ball was going to land. He carried the flight. He made the right contacts. And by the way, Cucurella has been one of the best left backs in the world this last 2 years, but he didn't know where the ball was. There's a difference in reading that game. And I was just very proud to watch him play. On Mendes, listen, I said it earlier on in the stream. I'll say it again. Best left back in the world right now. Clear, in my view. Even the other guys that are world class, even the other guys that are very good, this man is a different breed, a different level. He is technically amazing, wonderful skill, brilliant positioning, because this isn't, you get like a Trent Alexander-Arnold who is brilliant going forward, a brilliant attacker, wonderful in how he plays the game, but defensive issues everywhere. You'll get with Mendes, you have got a man that can attack like a winger. He can attack like a winger. The way he twined up, the way he bamboozled, the way he bullied Jamal for that second goal was amazing. But defensively, he's one of the best technical and positional defenders in world football. The man is an absolute gem of a football player. He truly, 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 truly is. And for me, a few people here are saying Yamal ghosted. I'm going to say this now. Yamal didn't ghost. Yamal didn't ghost. He just got pocketed by the best left back in the world. Simple and as straightforward as that. Now, I also want to praise Roberto Martinez, and I'll tell you why. Because I thought he had a stinker to begin the game. And I wasn't that happy with his half-time substitutes as well. As much as I like Ruben Neves as an individual, it's a difficult one because I think he messed up. Costa Sal, for me, that should be an impact player from the bench. So he wasted that player. But for me, I would have bring on Semedo for him. I'd have moved João Neves into the middle. I think they could have dominated the ball more. They would have created more chances. And they always looked dangerous when they did that. But the changes that he made, the longer the game went on, the more comfortable Portugal got. I love the idea of Rafael Leao from the bench. I think that you can still see a sort of sloppiness at times from him and an awkwardness on the ball. But you saw that speed, that athleticism, that determination from him. Very great dribbling skills as well. Late in that game, he was ripping Spain to shreds. And him and Nuno Mendes that late in the match was just a joy to behold. It was brilliant to watch. It really was. He got his substitution spot on. He left the right players on the pitch. Ronaldo, I know he went off with a bit of an injury. He was going to have to come off anyway. He's 40 years of age. But even the penalty takers that were on the pitch, phenomenal. Even the penalty takers that were left on the pitch got every single part right. Wins a first major trophy for himself as an international coach. And look, this Portugal team ahead of the World Cup in the summer, they're going to fancy their chances. They've got such a talented squad, such great individuals. And, there are players that didn't even come onto the pitch today. Trincao didn't come onto the pitch. The Lowe didn't come onto the pitch. You've got Paulinho that didn't come onto the pitch. And I think Mendes is only going to get better. They've got to get the midfield balance right because for me, I love Bruno Fernandes. I think Bernardo Silva is an excellent football player, but that midfield has to have João Neves and Vitinha in that midfield three. They have to be in that midfield three. They've got to be. And I don't think it matters whether Silva or Bruno Fernandes drops out. One of those two has to. I think they've got to look for more control on the ball. But outside of that, Portugal deserved it tonight. They really, really did deserve it. Spain, yes, they had more shots. Yes, they had more of the ball. But if you watch that game, the way Portugal grew into it, the way they worked themselves through the adversity of being a goal behind twice, fighting back, the substitutions. For me, yeah, I absolutely think they thoroughly deserved it. Terry, Bernardo Silva needs to hold bench. Listen, I agree with you. Listen, I would drop Bernardo Silva and not Bruno Fernandes personally. That's what I would do. But what I'm saying is the more important thing is João Neves being in that midfield. And I'll tell you why it's important to have him there. Because Portugal don't want to make the same mistake England did for 15 years. Paul Scholes, Michael Carrick absolutely should have been playing in central midfield for England, because both at different stages and at the same time at Manchester United, they were the best pairing in the country. The team that won the most, that dominated the most, that beat teams the most. These guys weren't being used by England. England were always trying to shoehorn in the biggest stars as opposed to creating the most balanced team. And I think João Neves, Vitinha, Bruno Fernandes is the most balanced midfield that they could possibly have. And that's what I would do. That's what I would personally do if I was in charge of Portugal. But outside of that, they thoroughly, thoroughly deserved it tonight. And I will say this, just very, very happy indeed for Cristiano Ronaldo. A lot of people in my comments on Twitter, when I posted about this man, I've said it before and I'll say it again, you know, a lot of people will have Messi as the greatest of all time, and that's absolutely fair. What I will say is this. When it comes to European football players, because this is a European competition, no one is greater than Cristiano Ronaldo. At their peak, you might think certain players were better. That's acceptable. But at 40 years of age, scoring the most important goal in another major final, 22 years as a consistent performer at the highest level of the game, winning trophies, breaking goal scoring records, there has been no greater European player than Cristiano Ronaldo. And I said greatest. I didn't say best. I'm saying greatest. This man is phenomenal. He may not be in his pomp. He may not be at his best anymore. He may not be at the absolute peak of his powers. But you cannot take away his legendary status, his greatness from the game. Wasn't the man of the match tonight. That accolade will go to Mendes. He deserves it thoroughly. But for me, you know, I just watched Ronaldo at 40 years of age deliver. He's going to go to the World Cup, maybe his last tournament. And do you know what? If the manager can get things right, if they get the formations correct, they could maybe go on and win that as well. And look, it would definitely throw a spanner into the works around GOAT conversations when you look at the body of work over 22 years. And of course, I want England to win that as an Englishman, but I wouldn't be disheartened. I wouldn't be angry. I wouldn't be frustrated or sad if Ronaldo went and picked that up. Of course, as well, very, very happy tonight for Bruno Fernandes. A disappointing end to the Premier League and domestic season for him. Decent game tonight. I wouldn't say any more than a 6.5 out of 10, but great leadership towards the end of the game when Cristiano Ronaldo had to go off. Did his team proud tonight. But again, it's not always about, are you the best in that final? It's about the body of work that goes into it. And Bruno Fernandes, that semi-final, second half performance, especially against Germany, he was an absolute demon. He dominated the proceedings. And without that display, there is a very firm, very distinct possibility they wouldn't be in this moment here. So congratulations to Bruno, the captain of my football club, and the man wearing the armband, stepping up from the penalty spot. And we've seen great captains before going to penalty shootouts and bottle these moments. He didn't do it. So congratulations to him. That's his second international trophy. Another good performance, another captain's performance in the winning of a trophy. And all of these things, as I say, they lead to your legacy. It's what you leave behind. It isn't the trophy and the medal by itself. It's the body of work that goes into it. And that shouldn't be and cannot be ignored. So well done to him as well. Look, I want to go to some of your comments here. I want to know your thoughts, want to know your feelings and opinions on this game today. But as we stated, congratulations to the winners. We're going to lift the trophy in a few minutes as well. And very, very happy, excited to see Ronaldo lift another trophy. And you know what? I'm just going to enjoy it. And I'm going to enjoy it because there's going to be very few more times now that you're going to see Cristiano Ronaldo lift a proper trophy. It's rarely going to happen. because he currently isn't playing in Europe. He's not, and he's getting old for a football player. He won't be around for much longer. So enjoy it, especially you youngsters. Absolutely. You've got to enjoy it. The Nations League has been excellent this time round. Maybe it's becoming maybe it's because it's underrated. The players seem very happy to win it. Does it deserve more respect? What you're going to have is this. You'll have people tonight that don't like Ronaldo. You'll have people tonight that don't like international European football for whatever their weird, strange agenda is. But Cristiano Ronaldo crying his eyes out. Spain fans in the crowd crying their eyes out. Spain players now looking gutted. The way these Portuguese players are celebrating, and you've got to put this into perspective. Some of those players, like Mendes, was almost in tears winning the man of the match today. This is a man that a week ago, just 1 week ago, was lifting the Champions League and was behaving in exactly the same way. So my point is this to what you're saying there, KJ. If it was as little, if it was as meaningless as fans are trying to pretend that it is, why are Spain in tears? Why are they so disappointed? Why is Ronaldo crying? Why is Mendes looking as chuffed as he did when he won the Champions League? Why are they celebrating so much? Why did both sets of fans go crazy when they scored goals? Why were both sets of fans gutted when they conceded goals? For me, it is a new tournament. It's only been around for 5-6 years. It's better than friendlies. It's growing. And the maddest part about it is this is what will happen. People will put it down until their nation has a chance to win it and then be gutted when everybody else online saying it's crap. We've got to stop this diminishing of trophies just to score points. Yes, it's not as big as the Euros. Yes, it's not as big as the World Cup. It's like the Club World Cup that's coming up, the way people are speaking about it. I'm just always open to innovation, always open to new ideas, because if we were not, the Premier League that we love wouldn't exist. If we were not open to innovation and new ideas, the Champions League wouldn't exist. It wouldn't be here. There are so many elements of football that we love that without innovation wouldn't exist. So for me, I'm not against. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say, look, it's the same as a World Cup. Would never make that claim. But it's big. Look at their celebrations. And the English people as well. We're one of the problems here. We're the only nation in Europe that plays down the Europa League. We're the only nation in Europe that plays down the Conference League. We're the only nation going into the Club World Cup that's playing it down. Maybe it's because we have the Premier League. Maybe it's because we have the FA Cup. And we know the brilliance and the beauty of that. But even said that, we play the FA Cup down now. We play the League Cup down now. And I think so much of that stems from we're so tribal. I think so much of that stems from trying to take things away from our rivals that we've ended up damaging the game for ourselves a little bit. We ended up kind of damaging it for ourselves because you kind of reap what you sow. But yeah, Ronaldo's just been given the trophy. I'm trying to look at this. But you say here it's not a prestigious trophy. Then why are they all in tears? Why are they all crying? Ronaldo's about to lift it here. Look, it doesn't look like it ain't prestigious. It's not like a friendly. Look at their faces. Go look at their faces right now and tell me that doesn't mean something to them. Singing Championes, they mean something. I can't. I appreciate your comment. But I think sometimes as football fans, we're allowed our own opinions. But we've also got to be led by the reality of what's in front of us. And it's getting a lot of accolades. And I think we should take it more seriously. And also, I'd be a hypocrite. When England got relegated last year into the lower category, I was fuming at Southgate and wanted them to be sacked. England fans were fuming at our performances. But if they didn't matter, if it was irrelevant, then why were we angry? We have to ask ourselves that question as well. Ronaldo's last dance. Yeah, fair play to him. He's killing it. Absolutely killing it. So happy for him. So happy for him indeed. Deserves it. Deserves it. Ronaldo over Messi. Messi wouldn't score a goal at 40 years age against one of the best teams in the world, period. I mean, listen, I'm not going to say anything negative about about Lionel Messi. But the second part of what you said there is so true. That was a match-saving, because he didn't win the game, but a match-saving goal against a team that is currently considered the best in the world in a final. We all go on, and this is what I love about when people become very duplicitous, and we'll see what people have to say on Straight Facts tomorrow morning. But you get this duplicity within football fans. You get players, for instance, that get called out all the time. What they've done in finals. What they've done in finals. What do they do in big games? What do they do in big games? What do they do in that game? Ronaldo had just scored another goal in another final. You can't take it away from him. You just, in my opinion, you just cannot be trying to take that away from him in any capacity. Does it mean he's better than Messi? Look, you're entitled to that opinion. Messi's one of the greatest of all time as well. Ronaldo, to me, just my favorite. Don't care what anyone has got to say. As a Barca fan, I'm proud of Yamal and Pedri tonight. They gave it their all. Portugal deserved the win tonight. They attacked and defended well and will bounce back in the World Cup in 2026 with Rodri coming back. They will. I will say as well, I thought the second goal should have stood. I did think Spain's first goal was offside, though, because although that's where the rule is flawed, Ruben Diaz only makes a play for that ball, which plays it back into the path of Zubimendi, because I'm not too sure who the attacker was behind him. He's only, if he lets it go, it hits the attacker who would have scored and was offside. But if he defends it, because the attacker hasn't made a swing for the ball with his foot or tried to head it, it's not considered interfering with play. They've really got to look at that offside rule. I get maybe by the letter of the law it's not offside, but it just has to be offside. It really, really does have to be offside. No, I agree. It's the rule that's rubbish more than anything else. Ronaldo fans are such bums celebrating a tournament. Okay, they're bums for celebrating a tournament. Nico Williams was the most dangerous attacker for Spain today by a lot. I thought Nico Williams, that first half was really good. In the second half, though, what happened is he was really shut down. He was shut down a lot with the adjustment to the team that was made. And I don't think Spain reacted quick enough. The first half, though, very, very dangerous. Had a very good shot in the second half that just went wide. I think he's an excellent player. And the thing with tonight's game is, I'm not going to crash it on anyone that didn't have their greatest game. You were talking of, and this is the problem with a lot of modern day football fans and social media football fans, is the fact that when two high level teams play each other, because of relativity, some players will look bad. Yamal tonight didn't have a great game. And you'll get the jokes that, he had a stinker. You'll get Lee Gunner will tweet stinker and hooked, having a bit of fun, having a bit of banter, absolutely. But you'll get some people that will take that so far. He only looked poor because Mendes had one of the greatest performances I've seen from a left back in a final. So sometimes you're only as good as your opponent allowed you to be. That's different from a player having really bad first touch, putting in no crosses, doing nothing of any substance. Yamal was in the game, good touches, dangerous positions. He just had a man who was on fire tonight, stopping him. Nico Williams, excellent first half, very dangerous, very, very difficult for Portugal to handle. Tactical adjustments happened, made it harder for him. Semedo came on and had a very good game, and he didn't get the same space. But then it was up to other players in Spain to pick up the ball and to do something with it that now had more space because he was being closed down. So we have to be fair about these things, I think, when we come to assessing. Rahman here says, Terry, I'm proud of Bernardo and Ruben Diaz. They didn't have a good season at Man City, but they won the Nations League with their country. Yeah, look, you got to be proud of them. I didn't think Bernardo Silva had a particularly great game today, but just, part of a good team performance. I thought Ruben Diaz was very good tonight. There was a moment where Nico Williams gets in and he shifts. He did everything right, Nico Williams. But the way Diaz got back and defended, gets such an important tackle in, and then actually deflects the ball back off of Williams for a goal kick. There's some really important moments tonight. Some really, really important moments tonight, Rahman, from him. And he did very, very well indeed. Bads here says, I really liked Vega at centre-back. Yeah, I was watching him play, and all I kept on thinking is, why have Chelsea let him go for 15 million? Versatile, strong, excellent appearance badge. You're spot on. The hypocrisy is so rich. If Yamal scored a brace and Spain won, people would suddenly change their opinions about the importance of the trophy and would not stop bantering Ronaldo. Oh, if Yamal had put in that performance, it would be, that's why he's got to win the Ballon d'Or, because he's flavor of the month. And Ronaldo has, as much as he has millions of people that love and respect him, he also has as many that despise him. So it isn't don't rate him, it's despise him. So everything he does, they'll try to diminish. And you're absolutely spot on with what you say there, Shahaj. If this result was the other way around, Portugal took the league, Yamal got that goal, they went on to win it, it would all be about Yamal right now and how amazing he is. You couldn't be more spot on if you tried. You really, really couldn't. Equally, I'm defending Yamal and saying the only reason tonight that you saw you saw him not having his greatest game is because he was stopped. He was stopped by a absolutely fantastic Mendes. However, if Ronaldo hadn't have scored and was completely out the game, the narrative about him tonight would have been vile. It would have bordered on offensive. Because, but again, the only you got to remember as well, the reason why that's done, the reason why that happens is purely and simply because the only way to diminish Ronaldo's career is to overly attack him. Does that make sense? And you'll know that about any debate. And you'll see this in every football debate you listen to on YouTube, Spaces, television. If it's player versus player, team versus team, manager versus manager, you may even agree. So I recently had a debate with somebody about two great Premier League strikers. So I'm not even telling the story properly. I was in the middle of a debate between two YouTubers about two great Premier League strikers. I agreed with person A, as in who they thought was better, but I sided with person B in the debate because person A started to lie about the other player, started to make things up that weren't true. So from a debate perspective, I couldn't side with him. I couldn't do it. I couldn't side with him because what he was saying simply wasn't true. It just wasn't true. So I don't think we should do that as football fans. We shouldn't go, I'm going to side with the liars because they are supporting the person that I like the most. So I think we've got to stop that in the football discourse. It's become very, very boring. Josh here says happy for CR7, Bruno and Delo and the country of Portugal for sure. Hoping Amarim can mold Dorgu and Leon like Mendes. Listen, when we were linked to Mendes, I went and spent a lot of time watching him and PSG. Inadvertently, that's why I started talking about PSG winning the Champions League and was getting laughed at because I was watching them play, obviously, at the same time. I wanted him so badly because all I saw was a tremendous defender, one of the best in the world, and one of the best attacking fullbacks in the world combined in one position. He has it all. He has all of it. I'm going to take a call now from Elijah, who is backstage waiting to come on and speak. When I see his camera go back on, I'll bring him back through to have his say. Sue. My son started doing that the other day. I don't even know where he saw it from. He's not even at that age where he really watches football. He just started doing Sues around the house. I couldn't believe it. Fair play to Portugal. I'm just looking at. That's a great picture of Ronaldo holding that trophy. Very, very happy for my guy. Very, very happy for my guy there lifting that trophy. Oh, do you know what, though? What tonight did get me in the mood for? It got me in the mood for next year's World Cup. I was watching it and I was like, oh, I can't wait for that now. I love the last one, but the last World Cup was out of this world. And I'm just hoping and praying this one is this new one is going to be every single bit as good. I hope so. I think it will be. But you know, when you're just like, oh, I want it now. I want the World Cup here now, this month. I love an international tournament. I really do love an international tournament. Sorry, Pete. I'm just trying to do something and it's not working for me. What's going on? What are you doing?
Sorry, Pete. I'm just trying to move something. Oh, there we go. I'm just trying to update the thumbnail. There we go. That's better. It's not quite right yet. All right. There we go. That'll be better when it's done now. There we go. Oh, Elijah's not backstage anymore, so there we go. Coming from Canada, coming to Canada for the World Cup. We've started our planning for the World Cup now. Actually, we're gonna look to do something. I'm not too sure what yet. I've got to get a few ducks in a row first, but I'd love to be out there. I think what we may try to do is find a base, because obviously it's spread over such distance. We need to work out where England are going to be, because that will be a large part of what we cover. No one knows yet, so I need to know where England are going to be based. Hopefully, teams are going to be based in a particular part of North America, and then we can kind of go from there. But yeah, I'd love to get back over. I haven't been to Canada in such a long time, so I'd love to come back. My second favorite country in the world, behind being at home, if that makes sense. So yeah, fingers crossed I can make that happen. The Nations League is another trophy in the GOAT's cabinet. Absolutely right. Everyone that tries to banter Ronaldo's career is simply an absolute bellend. His career cannot be questioned. His obvious ability. I'm a Liverpool fan and would love him to have been at Anfield. Now, I agree with you, Jeff. I think the way people try and play Ronaldo down is crazy with this. But I like this guy because he's more technical. I prefer this or I prefer that. I just think, shut up. I just think you're being foolish. I just think you're being disingenuous, man. Ronaldo and some fans have put down their own Portugal team, blaming it on them as to why they didn't win the World Cup. His comments has diminished his own career. Terry, we've done that comment there. The facts, this here, I don't want to disrespect Ronaldo. The CR7 fans are annoying. But yeah, you can't take that out on Ronaldo. That's not his fault if certain people online annoy you. That'd be a crazy thing to do, is take it out on him. Mendes, another sporting product. Yeah, just fantastic player. Really, really is. Look, everybody that's tuned in, I want to thank you all for coming on the show tonight. I want to thank you all for tuning in. We're going to be live tomorrow morning for Straight Facts. This video is going to redirect you to Straight Facts. So go there now, bookmark it. Get yourselves ready. It's going to be an amazing show. We've got Jamie on. We've got Judge Mo on the show tomorrow morning. So it's going to be great. We're going to have a little chat about tonight. We're going to be talking transfers. We're going to be talking about the road ahead for a few teams as well. So some big debates tomorrow morning. Until next time, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Peace.